Today we're talking about language development and things we can put in our child's environment that are for play as well as learning vocabulary. So as you see here, I have tons of little stuffed animals. So they're not for just hanging out in their room, but they're for coming out for a short time, just groups of them, not all at the same time, but they're for language development, for growing vocabulary, for understanding animals in our environment and in other places in the world. And so I've kind of grouped these together over here in this area. These animals are in Africa. They can be in a zoo as well, but you have tigers and cheetah in the back here, lion, panther, giraffe, elephant, a family of monkeys or gorillas, and then you move on to birds. So here are the birds. You have chicken, a flamingo, an ostrich, a parrot, so all different kinds of birds, and then over here all kinds of dogs. And so grouping them together and then trying to make them look as real as possible. So here I have some rabbits, beanie babies, as well as a white fluffy rabbit. And then four-legged animals like an aardvark and a raccoon. And then in the back is a skunk. And this is an armadillo. And then going into all of these have to do with water. So you have a turtle, you have a crocodile or an alligator, however you want to do that. Frogs, duck, fish, whales, and then like a manatee or a seal. And then under here are other animals. This is a snake. It's curled up. You can hardly tell. Butterfly, ladybug, and then there's a rat right there. And this right here is things that live in Australia. Kangaroo, koala bear, panda bear, those kind of things grouped together. And you can see the difference in quality of koala bear. If you just want to have one, pick this one. That's second. And then over here are four-legged animals that you might see in and around farms or certain things. So you have like a moose and then a horse, and then there's a longhorn cow. There's a pig. And then this basket here, sorry, there's a kangaroo. I think I talked about that. This basket here are puppets. So you can use small stuffed animals and then you can use puppets to teach language, but try as much as possible to make them look realistic so that you don't confuse your child. You need to ground your lessons in reality, in the concrete. The abstract, they can't tell the difference at a young age. So my butterfly is the thing that kind of I wasn't sure about showing because I've never seen a pastel looking butterfly like that. But I wanted to show some insects in there. So normally you want to keep them looking as close to realistic as you can get a stuffed animal. And then you bring them out in just a few, maybe 5 different kinds of animals, and let them, pronounce them correctly, talk about them, what they eat, where they live, how many feet they have, what kind of skin they have. Is it feathers, fins, or fur? That's a lesson that we'll learn. Feathers, fins, and fur. About things that live in the water, things that live on the land. So you would have those discussions and start building vocabulary and understanding. And this you can start as early as they'll look at you and listen to you, from 6 to 8 months old on, and just learning about the different animals, their names, their habitats, what they're called, the male and the female, what they're called when they travel in groups. You can just build on the vocabulary, but start small with just the names of the animals. And then you can, again, when you pronounce the name of the animal, like the monkey, you say monkey, lion, cheetah, chicken, ostrich, flamingo, Dalmatian. You would highlight the beginning sound of each of their species, of their names and what they're called. And then if you, over time, when they master the names of them, you can bring out a map of the world and show where these animals live and that they have different habitats. Some live in a cave, some live in the water, and some live in trees. So you don't do this all at once, you do it in stages. And so take it one step at a time, but these will have longevity if you bring out, say, the farm animals, because that's closer. I live in Texas, so something that's close to home. If you live in Australia, bring out the Australian animals. If you live in Africa, bring out the African animals, and start close to home and move on from there. And allow them to play with them, feel them. It's also a sensorial, tactile experience. They're fluffy, they're furry. Some of them make noises. So please start there and then build on that as we talk about the next steps in language development. So early, it's all about vocabulary. So build their vocabulary, build through books, stuffed animals, going to the zoo, anything that you can do to build vocabulary. Again, starting with the special sound at the beginning of the name. Alligator, kangaroo. Start by talking to them in a way that they can learn and you can educate them. Thanks for listening. I hope it was helpful.